Welcome to our first summer road trip podcast. My name is Joel, and I am joined by David Diener. And this summer, we are going through the book of Acts all summer long. And we're on our own little road trip right now, aren't we, David?
Oh, yeah.
I'm riding shotgun. And so, first, most important question, what is your go-to road trip snack?
I would have to ask another question. Is Buc-ee's an option?
Buc-ee's is always an option.
Okay. Then I've got a brisket sandwich.
Ooh, yeah.
I've got their wrapped meat on a stick.
Okay.
Also, and then their candied pecans.
Yes.
I think that's enough to hold me over for a road trip.
I love Buc-ee's, and you know, your money can disappear very quickly at Buc-ee's.
Yes.
But those sugar roasted pecans, probably my all-time favorite road trip snack. But I also love Twizzlers.
Yeah. If I'm at a normal gas station, I get the Reese's Trail Mix. So a little bit of salt, a little bit of sweet.
I've never had that, but it sounds delicious. I'm a big fan of the Trail Mix.
Yeah.
So are you more, well, with the Reese's Trail Mix, you get a little sweet, little salty.
I do.
Do you prefer one or the other?
Sweet for sure.
Yeah. I'm the same way. Buc-ee's has got to be the best gas station, right?
Yep. Can't wait to try the new one on the south side of Indy.
I know. I got excited when I heard about that.
Yep.
What would you say is the worst mistake you can make when it comes to road trip snacks or drinks?
I would say I'm not a big salt and vinegar chip.
Ooh, yeah.
Those are pretty potent. So
yeah.
Anything that's going to be potent, smelling like that, no go for me.
Yeah, and if you're in a car or a van with a bunch of other people, you got to respect your surroundings.
That's right.
Yep. One bad choice can ruin it for everybody.
That it can. And if you know it typically upset your stomach, don't eat it.
Yep.
Just don't.
Yep.
Especially as a dad, like I'm always competing against the other semis.
Yeah.
And have to stop frequently and see the people I just spent all that time passing.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yep. So this past Sunday, we looked at the church at Antioch in Acts chapter 13, and we looked at Paul. He's in this point in the narrative, he's still called Saul. And before he ever leaves on these three famous missionary journeys, we see there was a church, that church in Antioch, that was willing to listen to God and say yes. And honestly, as I think back to that passage, that's what stands out to me the most is this church, they weren't trying to build their own platform. They weren't trying to stay comfortable. I thought it was pretty remarkable that they were willing to release their own people for the sake of a bigger mission. And when you think back to that passage, it was only 4 verses, but what stood out the most to you?
Yeah, I think it was important to me, like, anytime in like leadership, I want to follow what my leaders are doing, and that church didn't just send like normal congregation people, but the leaders led the way with it.
Yeah.
Like they were the ones being sent a lot of the time. It's easy to follow someone where you can see the passion and the drive to reach people for Jesus.
Yeah.
And to see that example, even today, as people at Bachelor Creek, to see the example of that church and their leaders wanting to go out and reach people. I mean, that's infectious. It makes makes me want to follow it.
Yeah. We talk about it a lot because it's who we are, but we want to raise up the next generation. And there's something that I think is incredibly fulfilling when we raise up people and then we're able to send them out. And I think back to Paul Cordes, who's serving with Casas Por Cristo right now. He grew up in our student ministry and our 18 to 25 ministry, and it's cool to see the amount of people who call Bachelor Creek their church home, but now they're serving in other churches or other places in the world. And that's the kind of church that we want to be. We want to be like that church at Antioch. We want to be a sending church. And when I think about that church at Antioch, it reminds us that movements begin, we said it on Sunday, movements begin when God's people listen to the Spirit and they respond in obedience. And so what we would love for people to do this week, maybe as you gather around the table, you're eating meals with your family, like a good question to ask as a family is what might God be asking you to say yes to right now? And let's not make it a question that other people answer. Let's answer that ourselves. What might God be asking you to say yes to? And I'm just curious, David, for you, Can you think back to a time in your life where God was asking you to say yes to something?
Yeah, I mean, when a question like this always comes up, this is honestly a really easy question for me, because I think back to, and I've shared it on a Sunday morning when I've preached before, the experience I had in high school where my youth group was going on a mission trip, and everyone else ended up not being able to go last minute. My youth pastor called me and said, "Hey, we're going to Kansas. You're the only one left that's still signed up. Do you still want to go?" Mm-hmm. And that was that pin in my life that changed the direction of it forever. And honestly, the reason I'm in ministry and today is because I chose to say yes. I felt like that was a trip that I was supposed to take regardless of what other people were doing.
Yeah.
And it was on that trip, through being able to serve in the local church and spend time with my youth pastor and his wife, that I felt like that's what God was calling me to do, was to serve the local church. And without a simple yes of, I'll take a road trip.
Yeah.
Took a road trip. We literally, the three of us in a car, went to Dodge City, Kansas, and God changed my life just because I said yes.
That's awesome.
What about you?
Yeah. So, I mean, again, kind of my call into ministry is I had a completely different plan for my life that involved what I thought was going to be good things, but it ultimately wasn't what God was calling me to. And it was a night at church camp after I'd graduated high school where I felt like God was calling me to say yes to full-time vocational ministry. And I was scared because it was taking me out of my comfort zone and doing things that honestly I didn't think I was cut out for. But just saying yes, and then stepping through that next door and saying yes, and I can see it in the big things. Even how I felt like God was leading us and our family to Bachelor Creek, I felt like that was a big yes that we said. But it happens in the smaller everyday decisions too. I can think back to times where I feel like the Spirit has been saying, "Hey, you need to go over and talk to that person." And there are times where I can honestly say I've done that, and other times where I didn't, and I regret that I didn't. Yeah. Because I don't know what that conversation could have turned into. And so, for all of us, I don't want to just focus on the big things that we say yes to, but also like the everyday small things. Like, what might some of those things be?
Yeah, maybe you mentioned it. Maybe it's having that spiritual conversation, maybe with the coworker next to you, where faith has never really come up before. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's you've never been on a mission trip, and we've got some opportunities we're wrapping up some details on now for 2027, and maybe you've never taken a mission trip. Maybe that's a great opportunity for you to step out of your comfort zones and go out of the United States and serve. Maybe it's stepping into serve somewhere week after week at Bachelor Creek or in our community. There's so many places people need consistent people showing up and serving and being with them. Maybe it's, this hard one is forgiving somebody. Maybe that thing that God's asking you to do is just simply say, "I forgive you." Mm-hmm. Somebody who's hurt you in your past, and it's something you've not been able to give up. Like, it's the simple things. Like I was talking with our 18 to 25 ministry Sunday night. It's about doing the next right thing. Whatever that is. We were looking at Jeremiah chapter 2 in just a moment of whatever that next right thing is, do it. But part of that, I think, has to start with us being willing to slow down a little bit and be a little more introspective of, God, what are you calling me to do?
Yeah.
And we talked about this, not making rash decisions of, I'm going to do this now, I'm going to do that. That's often where impulse buys.
Yep.
We talked about some shoes and clothes that some of us have bought, and then we've worn it once and we're done with. Like, take time to sit and actually reflect on where you actually see God leading you next.
Yep.
It could be big, it could be small.
Yep.
But whatever that next right thing is, do it.
Yep.
Just say yes.
We talked about that on Sunday, how so often we say, "God, here's what I'm doing, bless this," instead of stopping and slowing down and saying, "God, where are you leading me? What are you calling us to?" And so I think you're right. I think sometimes it's just creating space to listen. That might be a way to say, "Yeah, God, I'm just going to stop and I'm going to listen." I think of Samuel in the Old Testament, "Speak, Lord, for your servant is listening." And so I just want to make this very practical. One step to take this week is to, can you carve out 10 minutes every day, intentional time, and just simply say, "God, what are you trying to say to me?" Instead of just running through a list of, "God, here's what I'm doing, bless this. Here's what I'm doing, bless this." Just stop and say, "God, what are you trying to say to me?" And eliminate the distractions. Don't rush through it. Just listen and see what God says. And I would also add, if you want to take this a step further, one of the things that I find remarkable about the church at Antioch is it says that God spoke to them while they were worshiping and fasting. And so what would it look like for you to fast from something this week? And fasting is often tied to food. And so there may be, you want to fast from food, and maybe you can do, if maybe it could be fasting from breakfast, it could be a day fast, a 2-day fast. It could be fasting from certain types of food, or what are those things that consume so much of your time that you could replace and redirect that towards God? And so it could be a social media fast. It could be cutting out TV or something, and you redirect that time that you would spend doing that, and you give that to God. Basically, we said fasting is saying not right now.
Yeah.
And so that might be something, if you want to take it a step further, if you want to dig a little deeper, what's something that you could fast from? And what you will find is that you're more spiritually attuned when you're fasting. You're more aware of the things of God. And ultimately, I think that's where we want to be. So create space, create room for God to speak. Anything else you want to add before we close?
Man, I thought the sermon was on point and really good. And I loved how, I know I talked about 1825, it connected so well to what I had planned. And man, God is on the move. Are we just willing to listen?
Yep. So, want to invite you to come back this Sunday. We're going to continue. This Sunday, the journey actually begins. We see Paul set off on that first missionary journey. And so I hope that you'll be here to be a part of that. Remember, we said it on Sunday, God doesn't need perfect people. He just needs people who are willing to listen and say yes. Thanks for checking out our first video podcast of our summer road trip series. Looking forward to where God's going to take us all summer long, and I hope you'll be here for it. We'll see you next time.
See ya.